So does Violent Ends fulfill its namesake? Yeah, it does. There is definitely violence, but it's also a fantastic movie. Let's talk about it now. Hi everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass, and I'm here to talk to you about Violent Ends, which comes to theaters on October 31st, 2025. It is a new slow burn historical action thriller that's based in the Ozarks in I think the 70s or 80s. It deals with two families that have a feud that spills over into some very violent ends. My hot take is I think you should watch it. I actually love this film. It was a really nice surprise. It's one of my favorite movies I've seen so far. It's just like a powerful, slow burn historical action thriller with a great cast, a slow, deliberate pace, and a relentless thirst for vengeance. I thought this film was fantastic. I've watched it twice. I will probably watch it again. It is so, so good. So definitely check it out. Check it out when it comes to theaters on October 31st, 2025. And all that being said, I'm gonna tell you about the film, a few things I like, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into a recap. So as you can imagine, there will be spoilers in the recap section. If you don't know what happens in this movie, and you might not, there are some surprises along the way. I would turn it off when we get to the recap. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. Let you know when I get to those spoilers. So in Violent Ends, you have the Frost family who live in the Ozark Mountains. They are an old crime family, and they have since kind of splintered into two basic factions. One side of the family controls the cocaine trade, one side of the family controls the meth trade, and they have kind of a stalemate. But that all changes one fateful day when one bad decision leads to some very violent ends. So the first thing I love the cast. It's a great cast. You've got Nick Stahl, Alexandra Shipp, James Badge Dale. Billy Magnussen is fantastic as Lucas. Kate Burton is really fun as the mom. So tons of really great actors, and they all kind of live in this world and kind of embody these characters. It really feels like you're transported back, and you get to see all this family conflict, all this drama, and all these very kind of unique, different members of this family. The second thing I love the slow, deliberate pace. It takes its time. It sets the groundwork. It introduces you to the characters. I love that it took its time giving you who was who. It was nice to kind of take that time and lay that groundwork because there's so many different characters. In most movies, I would just be confused. I'd be like, oh, who's this person? Oh, they mentioned this person. But this film gives you that time to live with these characters and introduce everyone so you know who these players are and you don't get confused as it's going on. The third thing I love the setting. It is a great setting. Like you feel like you're transported back in time. You know there are old cars. There's old buildings. It's definitely set out in the woods. It you know like I said with the cast, with the pace, with everything, it really transports you back there. And there's nothing that breaks your suspension of disbelief. The fourth thing I love the writing. I thought it was good writing. It's clear, and I love that kind of with the slow pace it makes sure to introduce characters over and over again. Again, like in a lot of these movies, I would just be kind of confused, like, oh, who's this person? Oh, who's this person? Which side does this person belong to? But they do enough with the writing to give you little hints of who they are, to remind you which family this is, which family faction this person belongs to, and it really helps. And then the conversation, the dialogue is really good. It's dramatic, it's heartfelt. It definitely keeps the story moving along and feels pretty natural. The fifth thing I love the music. Really good music. It's got some folk kind of music early on to set the stage, and then some dark, more brooding music when it gets more dramatic, when the violent ends start to happen. It definitely helps kind of amplify the mood and amplify the setting. And the sixth thing I loved, the violence. It's violent ends. There's got to be violence, and the violence is really good. It's not a ton of it, but when it gets going, it gets going. And it's got what appear to be practical effects, which don't break your suspension of disbelief, lets you kind of stay in this era, stay in this moment. So all that being said, there really wasn't anything I didn't love about this movie. I thought it was great. I thought it was one of my favorite movies of the year. So definitely check out Violent Ends when it comes to theaters on October 31st, 2025. If you do see it, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. I'm going to really quickly go into a recap. So if you don't want to know what happens in this movie, I'm going to turn it off now because there will be spoilers. So Violent Ends is set in the Ozarks. You've got kind of two main families, controlling the drug trades in here. One family controls the cocaine trade. One family controls the meth trade, and they are kind of at a stalemate. They stay out of each other's way. They kind of, divvy up the overall pie. And in that, you have Lucas, who is, one of the younger Frosts. He's part of the cocaine family, but he wants to get out. He has met someone. He's met someone named Emma. He is in love. He wants to marry her and just wants to leave this world. Doesn't want, his kids involved in this. Doesn't want to have his kids grow up in this Frost world. So he is trying to work his way out. Now, A person that we get introduced pretty early on is Sid Frost. He's on the like meth side of things, and he gets out of prison, and you can instantly tell that something that he is going to be bad news. He is, he's like cold and fair and scary and kind of like overly confident. He definitely is someone that you know is going to be a major player here. Now, early on, Lucas and his fiancée Emma are running some errands or delivering checks for something or other, and they go to a mechanic shop. And while they're there, while Emma's there, a crew holds up the mechanic shop, opens the safe, steals the money, and during that time, Emma gets shot. One of the crew is like nervous. He has an itchy trigger finger. He, kind of loses his composure and shoots Emma. Uh, Emma ends up dying, and as they're running, Lucas, who was just, over on the other side of the lot, sees them leave and sees one of them pull off their hood, and it's one of the Frost kids named Eli. Eli, who was part of the like meth Frost side. So this happens. Lucas is devastated. He thought he was gonna like start a new life. He goes back to his home with his brother Tuck, his Tuck's I guess wife I think or girlfriend and their kid, and tries to do the right thing. Tries to file a police report. His mom is a police officer. She is a deputy police officer. So she comes, takes his report. He accuses Eli, and that is that. But unfortunately, Eli has an alibi. He has gone into hiding, and the family is not going to interact here because they don't want to upset each other. Eli is, I guess, the son of Walt, who controls the meth side of things, and Walt says that Eli wasn't there, and so the family is kind of accepting that. Lucas can't accept that, so he starts to then kind of do his own thing. Now, remember Sid. Sid seems like he is trying to take over, both lines of the family business. He tries to become a supplier for Donnie, who is the head of the like cocaine side of things. And when Donnie refuses, Donnie says, "I'm not going to work for you. We have our separate businesses." Sid kills him. They kill the other person that was there, and as the you know the this as Sid is leaving, he sees Bryce, who is one of the younger members of the cocaine family. He was just there driving. He was wasn't involved in this. Sid sees him, Bryce runs, Sid comes and kills him. So now, basically, the entire cocaine side of the family is dead. That just leaves Lucas. Now, Lucas is at home, and as he's sitting there, he sees Sid's Camaro speeding off, and I guess he gets an intuition that something is going wrong. Maybe he knew that Donnie and his other cousin were like going to that drop, and so he was waiting for them. He sees Sid's car speed off. He knows something's going on. He goes to check out the warehouse, and there he sees some of Sid's crew, some of the meth side's crew, moving some bodies. So Lucas tries to investigate. He messes up. He gets chased, and eventually he gets captured. But he's able to beat up, I think this person named Fiddle, beat him up, and get out of there. Get out of there with a bag of cocaine. Now, the crew finishes up what they're doing. They dump the bodies. But Lucas wants to go talk to Walt. He wants to say, "Look, Sid's trying to move in on your territory. I know you don't know this. Like, I just want to like end this." So Lucas and Tuck go talk to Walt. They have a very rough interaction to get there, but they finally get there. They talk to Walt, and Lucas just basically says, like, here, he gives him the cocaine that he took. He's like, you can have it. You can have the entire trade. I'm the head of the family now. You can have it all. I just want Eli. I just want my revenge on Eli. And Walt considers it, but not for very long. He then, basically tortures Eli. He then basically tortures Lucas, takes a brand that he was branding this brisket. And by the way, side note, this brisket looks terrible. He's making a brisket. It does not look good. Definitely not low and slow. Definitely not done right. It looks, I don't know, the color's all off. Needs to smoke that thing. Anyways, takes a brand that he was using for the brisket that has an F on it for Frost and brands Lucas on the side, basically kind of saying, like, you can't get out of this business. And that's that. He doesn't kill him. He takes Lucas and Tuck. Tuck is Lucas's half brother. He ties them up, leaves the cocaine on them, calls the cops. When his mom gets there, because she's the cop, she knows what's going on, but she also knows that Lucas is that she can't protect Lucas if he keeps doing stuff like this. So while Lucas is getting questioned by the cops, he finds part of the investigation file that mentions Lou Byers, one of the other members of the meth side of the Frost family, and I think that mentions that is a known accomplice of Eli. So Lucas thinks that Eli is there. Lucas and Tuck go to Lou's place. They sneak in. They look like they see Eli. They're gonna kill him, but then Lucas gets shot. They run into the woods to try to run away. They hide. It's a very good, very tense scene because it's like woods with like high brush, things like that. And eventually, Lucas and Tuck are able to overpower, and eventually Lucas and Tuck are able to capture Lou and Eli. They tie them up. They bring him into the barn. That is where Lucas forces Eli to confess that he killed Emma. And then Lucas has this really great speech where he's like, basically he's like a rattlesnake. They warn you, they don't want to fight you, they don't want to bite, but eventually if you get too close, they're going to bite. And that is when he blows off Eli's head. And then he kills Lou because he's getting his revenge. So after this, Lucas calls, I think, Walt and basically, says that they're gonna have to end this. So they come up with a time and a place, and Lucas and Tuck go back and booby trap their house. They set a bunch of booby traps. They get ready for what should be an assault, and they prepare for war. But then they only prepare for war with like two-shot guns, like guns with two barrels. Like, I don't know, get a pistol, get something that has a few more shots. Get ready. They get ready for what they assume to be a fight. And that morning, some of Walt's men come. That's Sid, Fiddle, and the other person that like helped with moving the bodies. That seems to be kind of a low-ranking member of the meth family. They all head over. Now, one of them gets killed by the booby trap. One of them gets shot by Lucas. But Sid is able to fire off some shots. He gets Tuck in the stomach, and Lucas tells Tuck to like run to the escape route, run to the boat, get out of there. So Tuck tries to run. He's in bad shape. And Sid sees him, gets down there, is ready to kill Tuck. Tuck is basically at the boat, getting ready to leave. Sid is there with a gun trained to Tuck. Lucas shows up with a gun trained to Sid, saying, "Stop." And then Fiddle, who was shot, but I guess shot with birdshot, he didn't get killed, shows up with a gun pointed at Lucas. And then Catherine, the mom, shows up and she has a gun too. It's like a very long standoff. It's a wonderful scene. Everyone has guns on each other. And that is when Sid drops the bombshell. He tells Tuck to tell, Lucas the full story, and we find out that Tuck is the one that arranged the original heist. He's in debt to Sid. There were mentions of Tuck being in debt early on in the movie, and I didn't really catch them that well, but now you see why. He was in debt to Sid, he was in debt to the family, and so he arranged this heist to help with his debt. He didn't know that Emma was going to be there. He didn't think that someone would get killed. That person was killed, and then Tuck, I guess, out of a sense of duty, decided to help Lucas get his revenge. This does not help Lucas's mood because Tuck is his brother. He gets very upset. He yells, and then there's like a domino of shots. And we've got, Catherine shoots Fiddle. Fiddle shoots Lucas in like the chest. Lucas shoots Sid. Sid shoots Tuck. Everyone is dead except for Catherine and Lucas. So Lucas is hurt, but he is still moving. He gets some rope, grabs some rope, ties Sid's legs to his truck, drags him like an old school like Western movie where you would like get the bad guy, tie him up to your horse, and drag him. He drags him all the way to Walt's gun shop where he originally went to go see Walt. Drags Sid in. Lucas can barely stand, but he goes looking for Walt. Walt's not there, and when he's leaving the shop, he sees Walt enter the door. Lucas shoots Walt. Walt shoots Lucas. Lucas shoots Walt in the head. Walt shoots him in probably the chest. Oh no, he shoots him in the neck. I think in the neck. And he's still somehow alive. I guess he's still fueled by rage, but it seems like he's gonna bleed out. Walt is now dead. Sid's dead. The entire like meth family's dead. The entire Coke family is dead. So it seems like this might be the end of the Frost. Sid still moves, but starts to kind of bleed out, and then he kind of like fades away. And then we have this really lovely scene. It's a flashback scene with Emma and Lucas. They are relaxing by the river. It's cute. They're like fishing, and Emma fishes, and she like pulls up a twig that has a ring on it. And she asks Lucas to marry him. And she asks Lucas to marry her. He says yes. They take a cute picture. It's kind of alluded here that maybe this was organic. I don't think it was. I mean, the ring fit perfectly on him. I think Emma set this up because she knew what she wanted, and it's a cute kind of like role reversal here. But it's alluded that maybe it was random. But I think Emma did set it up, and that was a sweet flashback to show how happy they were. Lucas looked really happy here, and then he did, and then events caused him to become less happy. But it's a nice bright spot to end this movie on, and that is Violent Ends. Like I said, I think you should watch it. Thought it was great. I thought it was a really good kind of slow burn action thriller. If you do see it, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.